what happens after that is just sadness. You just sit with it going, what is this?
Yeah.
And
Is
have
this
you
what my life is going to be?
Yeah.
yeah, have you experienced that reduce over the months of working together?
I cannot help but smile so much when you ask me this question because, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. Oh my God, yes,
Hi,
yes.
Krishna. How are you?
Hello.
Hello, hi Eva, hi Sean. I'm doing really well.
Yes, we're so excited to interview you, and thank you so much for taking the time and doing this.
Absolutely. I've been meaning to do this for a while because I've seen a lot of your interviews on YouTube. I could see some of the patients being so genuinely honest and open. And watching those, I used to wonder if I would ever be in that place. I'm still in the process, but it feels amazing to know how much in common I have with them because I started this journey thinking I'm a lot different.
Mm.
And what I found out was, I just watched the clip of, I forget the lady's name, the interview you posted on YouTube,
Mhm.
that how much in common we both had. And that, that in itself is such a comfort.
Honestly, you've come such a long way. And that's where I want to sort of start today is where were you mentally, emotionally before you started therapy with us or as you were starting in the beginning?
I was completely not aware of my retroactive jealousy in any shape or form. When I started this journey, I had just gotten into a serious relationship. I had never experienced the kind of emotions, the intensity, and the trust I have with my husband right now. This was my first serious relationship. He says the same thing. So the more real it became, there was a part of me that was really happy, really excited because I have finally what I wanted all my life. But there was also another part of me which is developing just as intensely, and it was equally powerful, and I didn't know what to call it. All I knew is that it's something unwanted, and as much as I tried to fight it, the stronger it got.
Mhm.
And I guess the right word to use is it changed me. It turned me into these two people. One was me enjoying life, having fun with my partner.
Mhm.
The other one was getting into depression because he didn't like the intrusive thoughts that were coming in. It confused me a lot because I try to be positive. I try to take care of myself. I did not know where these thoughts come from. It wasn't just the thoughts, it was also the repetitive dreams and the compulsiveness to be sort of nosy and ask my partner about his past over and over. So the focus wasn't on my current life with him, what he's like now. I did notice the behavior was getting a little intense as well.
Yeah.
I did not handle the situation very well. I was not equipped. So the first thing I did was go to therapy. And to give a credit to my therapist, they did do the right thing by telling me to focus on the present and to focus on the positives. But I think it's a lack of understanding there is in the community, among therapists and
Yeah.
doctors in general, which I found to be useless to me. These are the things that we all know in sort of a funny way. We already know that we have to take care of ourselves and we have to be positive. We have to focus on all the good thing that's going on. We don't really need therapists. We have our parents and family and friends telling us that.
Yeah.
But there's nobody who tells you that as ashamed as you are of these thoughts and as scared and as confused as these thoughts make you and angry as these thoughts make you, it's okay. It's okay to have them. You have to give yourself grace. But anyway, I started off this journey being extremely happy because after all these years and years of dating, I finally found this man and I was extremely happy for a while. The RJ did not kick in immediately. It was not something that gradually snuck in. I remember there being a conversation with my partner about his past, which turned on a switch of some sort. I did
Yeah.
not think about it at first. I thought, it's a funny thing to think about, I guess. And then I thought about it subconsciously, deeply, I think. And the very next day, I could find myself thinking more and more and more until I felt, okay, I have to ask my partner everything. Maybe this will clear things up for me. But it did not help. And I could feel myself being someone I did not intend to I did not intend to present this side of me to anybody, showing someone sort of a crankier, angry, in simple terms, jealous side of you, that something they did with one of their partners in the past bothers you isn't very mature. And, it's sort of a judgment that comes through. But also, I have never been comfortable being this vulnerable, even with my own family. I'm very close to my siblings. Me and my sister have a lot of heart to heart about dating and life, how to survive this new cultural phenomenon that we both experienced.
So you experienced a beautiful relationship, then you started getting thoughts, you sought out a therapist, and then talk to us a bit about how you ended up starting the program with us, and how, obviously you said therapy helped you, but then how did you decide to still seek help with us?
So what the therapy did was, it's sort of like a feel-good conversation.
Right.
A good feeling lasts for about an hour, but you come home and you sit down, and then the intrusive thoughts are back again. So the therapist tells you how to feel good about yourself, how to focus on everything that's positive, how to build more trust with your partner. True, but they don't tell you how to deal with the intrusive thoughts. I was completely open and honest about these thoughts with my therapist. I did go through 2 different therapists, even though they were, to their credit, they were like really amazing therapists. The lack of knowledge when it comes to ROCD was lacking. And I looked everywhere. I looked through Reddit, and, I Googled, what does it mean to have all these thoughts about your ex? I think the first thing I Googled was, I'm not a jealous person, but I have these thoughts. Because that was the truth. I'm 33 years old. I have never experienced jealousy of this sort. I have never focused on anybody's past, because of all people, my own journey has been sort of similar to anybody who would go through the transformation they would experience when they come from a very restrictive society. Socially speaking, I'm from India. We're not allowed to date. We're not allowed to show affection publicly, physically. There's no kissing. There's no holding hands. There's no going out on date. There's no sort of encouragement from your parents or anybody to just follow your dreams. So this has been a complete cultural shock. So all that considered, I had never experienced or even had thoughts like this before. So I looked everywhere. I looked through internet. I went through so many books. I bought books on Kindle, Amazon, everything. I would just read through them. I had finished so many, and all they would tell you is to focus on yourself and not give in to those thoughts. Stop asking these questions. Some of the content in the book is obviously right to deal with RJ, but it does not really address the root cause or how to sort of have like handy techniques. I remember you giving me breathing techniques. That was mind-blowingly life-changing for me. I did not expect the breathing exercises to sort of help me. So going back to my journey, I kept looking, and I went through Reddit. I went through YouTube videos, and I saw a lot of people talking about it. I was going through videos, and then I saw yours. To my sort of frustration, I don't know why your videos are not recommended on top of the list. They should be, just so you know. The way you talked about RJ in a very human, in a very basic way, I connected with you instantly. I was blown away. I sort of went, oh my God, how do I become Eva's best friend? Because she knows everything. The first thing I did, wait, is there a way to book some sort of session with her? And yes, thank God, there was a link. And I have to tell you, the first time I saw your video, I contacted you on the same day. I sent out a request for a meeting for 45 minutes initial assessment right away. And I did not look forward to anything more than the session with you. I could feel the change. I could feel that the depression is taking over me. I at first, when I sort of understood RJ, I did kind of get hopeful, but none of the techniques were helping me. They weren't working. I did exercise. I did focus on my diet. I did try to have fun moments with my partner, try to have good conversations, but they weren't addressing the root cause. So the moment I started talking to you, we had our session, and you pretty much hit a nail on the head. Like, you understood what is going on, and the fact that you have been through it yourself, I think, is also extremely important. Both of you have such an amazing advantage because you, Eva, are the person who went through it just like me. And Sean, you're the person who knows what it feels like to have a partner with RJ. What I didn't know was I needed inputs from both of you, and both of you have provided me such amazing insights. I have to be honest, the session with you ended, and I primarily just wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
I fell for somebody because you're in relationship with a man, and as a gay man, I have more in common with you than I would with Sean. So my initial hesitation is yes, but he has a relationship with women, and from my research, again, I have to say upfront that anything and everything I say is through my experience and my perspective,
100%.
even though the feelings of RJ are quite the same and sort of similar, the repetitive thoughts and the images that torture you are the same. The experience is slightly a little different because I guess of my orientation and my experience. Underneath it all, what I discovered is it's the intensity, the pain that we all feel is essentially the same. And yes, I had a session with you and I had a session with Sean, and I was looking forward to each and every recording and each and every material you would send, because this was a lot different than something that said, oh, do something nice for yourself, go
Yes.
work out.
So what did you think about sort of like RTT hypnotherapy initially, on the first call, I guess, before you signed up?
My first honest reaction was, I don't see how this is going to work, or
Yeah.
I don't understand this at all. So this is supposed to somehow subconsciously tell me to think differently. I did not see the benefits of it. And it definitely takes a while for it to kick in. You have to lean into it and have this faith that it's going to work. The first 3 or 4 times, I did listen to these recordings you provided me. I remember the first hypnosis session. A part of me would be very skeptical, and that sort of thinking kind of stuck with me every time I listened to it, and I would doze off. Every time I would listen to those, I would just doze off and think, oh, so this just helps me sleep. It's not really helping me deal with the issues. And I remember going back to you telling, Eva, I have to be honest, I just sleep
I
it out.
remember, yeah.
So what eventually happened is, again, there are different parts to RJ, right? There's part of you that obsessively asks these questions because you can't help yourself. Your mind repeatedly tells you, okay, to get through this, to settle this matter, to sort of put an end to this. And you're not. I have to ask my fiance these questions. I have to ask him, what did he do? What was he thinking? What was going through his head?
I'm coming out being very annoying. I'm coming. Continue to talk.
In my mind, I had kept my partner on a pedestal, like he's perfect, he's amazing. And for someone like him to do something like this, he has to have a reason, right? I mean, I cannot see him doing this. My partner, to his credit, was completely honest, completely open. But the more he shared, the worse it got. And the questions got more and more personal. It didn't help. So there's that. And the other part was silent suffering. Every time I got these thoughts, every time I sort of felt myself acting like a child, a brat, like crying, saying, no, I don't like this. I don't want this. I felt disappointed in myself. I felt guilty. I felt really upset. A part of me was, what are you doing? This is not the way you're supposed to conduct yourself. I used to beat myself up all the time. So that was the other part. And the third one was,
you're saying it started to build up a negative self-talk along with the silent suffering that you just mentioned, yeah?
Absolutely. And the third part was unexpected, which is having these images and videos of how it played out coming to my mind when I'm awake, and then the same thoughts coming to me when I was asleep. I used to have these dreams too, which is very unexpected. And every time I had those dreams and I would wake up with the worst possible feeling. I would not smile. It was immediately noticeable to my fiance at the time. He would ask if you're okay. And because everything was okay with my life, everything was okay between us, it was hard for me to communicate or tell him what is going on. I was in a stage where I just asked him questions and he would answer. And slowly as the time went, I would find myself raising my voice, reacting negatively, yelling, arguing, and my partner would get confused, of course. And I could see the pain in his eyes. It's sort of confusion going, I don't understand. Everything was fine. We had such a lovely moment. What's going on? Did I do something wrong? After assuring him everything's fine, I would find myself locking up myself in my room when he's not there, of course, and just crying my eyes out because I would feel so guilty for making someone who has nothing to do with this sort of go through this, and making him see a side of me that I never wanted him to see.
That's a tough place to be,
And so okay, and so we started working together, and then obviously we started with the RTT and the hypnotherapy. You also had a session with Sean that was quite a long one. And then of course Sean talked to both yourself and your partner. So like we're beginning the journey with us, when did you begin to sort of like have aha moments and see changes, and did it happen gradually for you? Like what was it like?
So the first step was, I remember after my session with Sean, I did sort of have a moment of comfort because I think I let it all out. I was holding back, and Sean was so kind. He was supposed to have, I think, a maximum of 3 hour conversation with me, and our session went way longer than that. I was with him for more than half a day, and I could see him getting exhausted. I mean, he was obviously exhausted. It was late at night, but he would not give up. He would just stay with me and address and just be so kind to me. And just the more I opened up, and the more he would listen and just offer support and empathy, which I had never experienced before. No one would tell me it's okay to feel this. And no one would tell me that it's all a part of life. What I feel, giving myself grace, telling myself it's okay, that's sort of something very new to me. And that's what I learned from Sean. And then the next session I had was with Eva. This is where the real aha moment kicked in, Eva. It was with you, where you sort of showed me that, of course, it's all coming from you, but let's get to the root cause of it. So let's go back to your childhood. And I could feel myself, I could feel my eyes rolling back saying, oh boy, like, here we go again, another therapist telling me to talk about my childhood.
Yeah.
But your techniques were something I have never seen before. They combine hypnosis with completely being open and honest about each and every key event, which I felt was really, really significant. The most intense experience. These are sort of the experiences or thoughts I never wanted to entertain or keep in my head.
Yeah.
So what happened was, when you addressed this with me, and when I had this hypnosis session, I could just feel myself going, oh wow, so this is what it's about. So Sean, you try to point out that you're not the same person. I'm not sure, because it was a long session, if you said these exact sentences. I remember you trying to tell me that you're not this person anymore. It's when Eva kept repeating it, that you're no longer the same person. I want you to tell yourself you are so much different than what you used to be. And unbeknownst to me, there are parts of me that still sort of connected with the old me, believed what the young me believed. So that was a very big aha moment for me. There was, again, a third aha moment, which I went through Sean, which is communicating with your partner.
Just to note, that is something that we've added in the more recent months, and we've just seen it be very beneficial. So I'm really glad that it helped you guys.
Oh my gosh, I think it's genius that you did. I would say the first two techniques are, they work, they help, but the communication with your partner, it brings you to a full closed circle. Because I have to say, as helpful as all the techniques are, as transformative and self-awareness this whole journey, this therapy brings to you, not having a support, especially from your fiance, your boyfriend, your partner, your wife, your girlfriend, not having the support makes a huge difference. And I essentially think having a support system, having your partner know that you're going through this, and knowing that, oh yes, my partner understands and they empathize with what I'm going through, genuinely will speed up the process. At least that is in my experience.
Wow. Yeah.
I remember telling Eva, you specifically, that I feel myself sliding back. I don't think it's kind of working. I don't know what to do. I was doing really well, but in the last week, all I did was go through RJ, and I was back to sort of trying to get into screaming matches with my partner again. After the technique Sean taught us about empathizing, giving each other complete opportunity to let each other know what we're going through. And when we talk about it, we don't make it seem like a personal attack or say, you did this to me. You have to talk about how you feel, what is going through you when you heard your partner say something specific to you, how it made you feel. And that was such a different technique. Of course, I was sort of aware of this. You look up videos. I was not aware of is the way to do it. I essentially have to be open and honest about how it makes me feel, but I have to, at the same time, after I've vented out and been honest, I have to let my partner speak. And the technique involves with him asking me if there's anything else that I'm holding back or not telling him. So that is the key to deviate from our current topic. That is one of the reasons I had immediately fallen for my partner is because of his ability to sort of be completely vulnerable. But he wasn't aware that he is closing a certain side of him. He wasn't really willing to share something. But I think I used to point it out, but not in a nice way. When you get confrontation, when you tell people, oh, you make me feel this way, of course, you either get defensive or, you sort of would not want to entertain this and you close that side of you. But that session that day was really, really, really important for us. And
Really
and so I think the support side of it all is just as important. Through my personal experience, I think the exercises, the hypnotherapy, the techniques that you teach, the support that you as a therapist, both of you offer is good, and you can do it on your own. Don't get me wrong, but if you're with somebody, you're trying to get through it or find a way to combat it or try to get your life back while you're with them. So it's important to understand you're not supposed to do this alone. It's sort of counterproductive that you're telling yourself, okay, this is my issue. I'm not going to bring my partner into this. I'm just going to show him this wonderful, happy side of me. And I'll just show my therapist all the ugliness, all the sadness I feel, because that's their job, right? They'll help me. And I'm supposed to show my partner this fun person he fell in love with. No. You absolutely need your partner. Can you do it on your own? Absolutely. You can, but the support makes such a huge difference. A huge part of it is understanding that you're safe. There's no immediate horrible threat that's falling on you. But if you do not have a partner supporting you, I think it takes you a much longer time.
I think so too.
I have to tell you again, the video that I connected with personally, Eva, was you telling me you went through this. It was as hurtful as it was. This isn't about fighting back or finding ways to never think about it again. It's to say, okay, I have these thoughts and I don't give a flying fig about it. It's, total indifference, which is what I was hoping to do. So right now I'm at a stage where I would be lying to if I'm like, oh, I'm cured. Everything's okay, hunky-dory. I'm 100% sure that, Eva, even you have these thoughts, even now,
it's not nice to think about. It does take time.
So where I'm at right now is I'm slowly approaching the stage where I show indifference to these thoughts, because through these exercises, the hypnotherapy was so useful in a way that I have connected with myself in a way where I can recognize the trigger and say, oh, this is your brain showing you something. Don't engage, don't try to reason with it, don't try to tell yourself, let me distract myself. No.
What about the emotion that you felt behind it? Because I think that's what people struggle with. Like, they know consciously that that's what they need to do, but the emotion is what is like driving it all.
Intense sadness, depression. I did not realize it was depressing. I went through intense depression when I started my session with you. I was literally clinging on to any hope. What I did not realize is how detrimental retroactive jealousy is. This isn't about you being jealous about what is going on with your life currently. It's not like you're looking at your partner flirting with somebody, or you're not looking at your partner getting close to somebody and you're jealous. This is not in a way a conventional jealousy at all. This is your brain showing you what really happened with your partner, when most of it is not even true. It's something that your brain cooked up, made up to sort of justify your anger, your reaction. And what I felt towards it was sort of horrified as to why I'm thinking. The second reaction was intense anger. And after the anger leaves you, either you fight with your partner or you fight with yourself. What happens after that is just sadness. You just sit with it going, what is this?
And
is this what my life is going to be?
Have you experienced that reduce over the months of working together?
I cannot help but smile so much when you ask me this question, because oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. This awareness that you have that this image is going to play out, and it's okay. Let it play out. As much as I'd like to fight it or even make reasons with it, or even tell myself, don't pay attention to it. Don't pay attention to it. No, it actually is not going to work. You are going to pay attention to it. And the other emotion that you strongly feel is justification. that, you
Yeah.
know, I'm pretty sure this is common with almost everybody who goes through RJ, is the sort of justification that goes, oh, I'm morally right. What he did was wrong. It's what a
Right.
bad person would do. I'm justified because this is not simply what I would do, because any decent person wouldn't do this. Any person who respects themselves will not do this. And I do not respect this. But that is also sort of a key that you don't have to respect it. I remember Eva, you telling me you don't have to respect it at all, or you don't have to be okay with it at all.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
okay. It's okay not to be okay with it. You tell yourself, yeah, I'm not okay with it, and I never will be. So when you feel these emotions, there's a part of you that goes, you have to find sort of a way to get around it. Maybe there's an answer. Maybe there's a reason why he did this. Maybe there's a reason why your partner went through this. Okay. And if you find the reason, which involves you asking a lot of intrusive questions, maybe it'll get better. And that's what I did. And that's what I was going through. And right now where I'm at is approaching this indifference stage. Just to give you an example of my partner having a physical, sexual intimate time with this X, and I wake up with it, it feels so real to me. The pain feels so real. My mood or tone for the day feels very down. The hopelessness, the sadness, the deep sadness I used to feel, it truly is gone. It truly is gone. Where I am right now is to acknowledge that yes, the setbacks will happen. You're not looking for a magical cure. You're looking for basically a life where this simply doesn't bother you. You simply don't give it the power or importance that your mind thinks you should give it,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you mentioned that the dreams have reduced.
So much. So during my sessions with both of you, I used to have it, believe it or not, almost every single day. It got
Crazy.
so bad. It got so crazy. And this is something I wasn't prepared for at all. And I would just wake up going, I don't feel like living this life anymore. What is this? The worst part about RJ as an RJ sufferer is there's no getting out of it. I was also coming to a realization that, as much as I'd like to tell myself, this is about my fiance, this is about what he did, it wasn't. This is what I had within me all along. It was going to happen with anybody else. Maybe I would tell myself, oh, our values don't match. He's a horrible person for doing this, and I would break up with him.
Has your relationship changed now that it's reduced so much?
For the relationship to change, the one thing absolutely needed to happen, which is me telling my fiance what I'm going through, that my pain is real. I feel so much pain. And as ridiculous as it seems, I completely agree with you in a way that it's in the past. We have a wonderful life together. I understand your confusion. And, I acknowledge that it feels sort of weird to you, but please understand that this pain is so intense and you have to be vulnerable. You have to tear up, like go through whatever you have to go through to convey your partner that your pain is real. So you have to let your partner know that you're going through these emotions and it's hurting you. And the second part is for your partner to be supportive of it. And the dynamic changes quickly if your partner is not supportive and is not willing to deal with it. Then unfortunately, I have to say it falls to you to decide how you want to continue this journey, because as I said, without support, it's extremely difficult. You have to ask yourself if this relationship is worth saving, because ultimately, with or without RJ, you definitely need a partner who empathizes with your pain. How is it a healthy relationship, right? If you tell your partner, I'm suffering, I'm hurting, it makes me cry, it affects my work, it affects everything, it affects my ability to smile and enjoy things with you. I feel so guilty and horrible because I do recognize that you're doing this out of love and, out of unconditional love you have for me. But there's this part of me that judges you based on what you did years ago. And you have to be vulnerable. Thankfully for me, I have such an amazing fiance. I mean, a husband now, of course, who
Congratulations.
empathized. And the other part was the social media aspect of it. I wouldn't go into a lot of details, but essentially what I went through with Sean is he asked me, what would you want him to do ideally about this situation? And Sean essentially told me to communicate this to my partner. And I did. And he came through. The fact that he would do this for me, meant the world to me. It wasn't just the gesture. It was the feelings he had behind it. It was the empathy, the kindness he had. It was like, I will support you. If this means this will lessen your pain, your burden, I would do anything for you. So the respect I have for him is very different from the respect I had for him months ago. So I think what a lot of RJ people tend to do is, this is the standard term, put their lovers on a pedestal saying they're perfect, they're amazing, and they're not. None of us are.
No.
You
Yeah.
know, we make horrible mistakes, and sometimes they're not even mistakes. They're just something you go through because you're surviving this life. And particularly me, you know, us, we have a difference from, I'm sorry, I have to rephrase this. Heterosexual couples go through something different. What I go through is different because I also have to deal with the sort of negativity from the society. So did my partner. So
Yeah.
our journeys have been different. And yet I was aware of this and I was still judging my partner. So I was to put him on a pedestal thinking he's perfect, thinking, of course, he went through whatever I went through, but he's sort of this amazing person. This idea about this amazing person is something I cooked up. He was just this guy who has been through what he's been through, and now he found someone he loved and he's happy and hopeful. But I sort of thought he was this perfect person. And then I found out, oh, he did these things and he's not perfect. But I cannot be in a relationship with someone like that because I wanted, and what I think is right, is for me to be in a relationship with someone who's not like this, someone who knows right from wrong. That was the kind of impression or feeling I had. But right now, I have a feeling of acceptance, saying, yeah, we all go through it. And
Yeah.
the fact that we're honest about it, we have this sort of friendship that I'm completely honest with my husband. I tell him I'm having one of those bad days. The understanding he gives, the physical affirmation, the hugging, a kiss on the forehead saying, it's okay, I'm here for you. We have a genuinely improved relationship. And
That's
it
amazing.
was, being vulnerable was the key. I could not have gone through this if I did not show him the side of me. I never showed him the side of me that was hurting. I showed the side of me that was cranky and irritated and judgy
Yeah.
and angry. Normally, I would not openly tell people on a video that I was angry. I was judgmental. I would scream on top of my lungs.
Mhm.
I would get out of control. I would tell myself, oh my God, what are you doing? Why are you screaming? You know, the neighbors can hear you maybe. Like, what is going on? But that is the only side I would present to my fiance. But I would not show him the side that was hurting, that was crying, both inside and out. You know, the side that I showed you, Eva, and you, Sean, the one where I bawled my eyes out, telling you about the intense pain and hurt I have, all these awful memories that I've had in the past, you know, how they contribute to what I'm going through right now. I never showed that side of me, but it's when I showed him that side of me, like things changed. He went from my fiance went from, why are you doing this, to, oh my God, I may not understand the thoughts that is going through your head, but I understand your pain. And as someone who loves you, I'm willing to offer my support. I'm here for you. So that was the key.
So this actually brings me on to my last question, which is, what advice would you give to someone that is struggling with RJ right now and that is putting off getting help? Because I remember last time you spoke about time as well, finding the time. Everyone's busy. What would you say to someone that's struggling right now?
I would just offer a suggestion. And as much as you're trying to tell yourself, I'm too busy for this, I'm an adult, I have work, nobody's going to understand. My partner is not going to entertain this. This is in the past. I can't put all my energy into this. But at the same time, you're going through this. All your energy is being taken away from you, whether you like to admit it or not. Imagine you ran a marathon like for 20 kilometers. You're like trying to cope, drinking all the juice you can, you know, trying to rest as much as you can in like 2 minutes, and you're trying to get up and go on about your life. That's what RJ does to you. It's simply not practical. You will lose your energy. Can you go through it? Of course you can. I would have gone through it for years. This isn't about, it is, I guess, improving your life, making your life better. You have to understand that your feelings matter, and the pain that you feel, however silly it might seem to anybody else, it's real to you, and it is not worth it. The amount of exhaustion and the amount of self-judgment, how much this feeling drags you down. So RJ is not just bad for your relationships, it's detrimental to you. As much as you fight it, as much as you try to put up a front and work as hard as you can, it is draining your energy, and you keep going through this loop of depression and trying to cheer yourself up. I cannot speak for everybody. Maybe you'll find a solution, but as long as you don't address the cause, as long as you are not sitting down and opening up about everything that you're going through, because RJ mostly has to deal with you. It is all you. This is coming from something that you haven't dealt with. This is coming from something that you have told yourself, this is the only way I can survive life. It is not. You don't deserve to feel sad. The goal of life is not to feel sad. Life will always have a balance of happiness and sadness, but when you see sadness like getting a leg up, you know, it's definitely the time to deal with this. And there's no right or wrong time. The right time is as soon as you can. Like, just
So
get
last, so,
started on this journey.
yeah, that's awesome. So one question on that. What would you say to anyone that's thinking about doing therapy with us?
As opposed to a standard therapist, right? It is just one person. It's either a person who went through it or a person who has seen other people go through it or someone they care about go through it. Maybe. But both Eva and Sean, both of you have such unique and extremely important perspective when it comes to RJ. Eva has the experience of going through it, and Sean, you have the, in a sense that you have seen what it causes, how much it hurts your partner, and you have gone through a journey of understanding it yourself. And I'm 100% sure you went through depressive phase as well, where you felt so down and sad that you have this wonderful life with your partner. What is going on? You haven't done anything wrong at all. Both of you have such amazing experiences and the knowledge that you possess. It's not that you're stuck on a technique. You have incorporated sort of new elements to it, because as you go through this, you have learned more yourself. So I would say, in my experience, from what I've seen, and I've done a lot of research, believe me, I have read, I think, like 5 books on retroactive jealousy. And one of the things those books say is go through it again and again and again till you feel something. But maybe it'll work for certain people, but it did not work for me. What essentially worked was me approaching these 2 wonderful people, who understand the core of it, understand where the problem comes from, and are going to give you these essential tools. They're not here to tell you what to do, but at the same time, the tools they give you help you out. Eva and Sean, according to me, are like the best at this business. So this is what I meant. I don't want to sound like I'm advertising for you, but it is when you go to a therapist, it's important that they have a personal experience, especially when it comes to RJ. I feel it's very important that as a therapist, you sort of have to have an experience with it yourself to understand it. And as much as I went to other therapists, I would have talks with them. I would just feel, what? This person simply doesn't get it. What they're offering me is like a textbook response.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel very personalized at all. And what both of you did is make me feel like, oh my God, they understand. There's nothing I cannot tell these people. And that is so important. Feeling so comfortable with your therapist that you reveal everything. And believe me, I let it all I think in every video that you post, you have a link that says, book a free consultation. Just book a consultation, to see, at least to see if you're the right fit. My first initial skepticism was they only deal with heterosexual relationships. I'm not a heterosexual. And my problem was particularly focused on his experience with women. So I was skeptic, but the first session was hitting a nail in the head for me to go, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And to anybody who feels that, no, my situation is unique. I have read the books, I've seen the videos, I've seen them explaining sort of RJ, but what I'm going through is different. If you're somebody who is going through these repetitive thoughts, who's tortured by these images of your partner's past, if you're going through all these detrimental feelings, you're beating yourself up, this is the right fit for you. And I don't think there is a better fit for RJ than Eva and Sean. So I would recommend.
Thank you.
That is my take on it. And Eva, congratulations once again on your pregnancy. you look beautiful.
Thank
by the way.
you.
Glowing.
Thank you so much.
You.
Yes,
as do
Krishna,
you.
Yes, you look amazing too. And yeah, Krishna, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. Well done for all the hard work that you've put in.
You've put in a lot of work, it's all on you. It's all on you and your effort.
So, you were engaged at the time, just getting really emotional about RJ, which a lot of people do. And now you're married and you've got really cool plans, and I'm really happy for you.
Quickly about the plans. We are going to concerts. We have so many things planned to travel internationally. I'm taking my husband to India. He's never been to India before. I sort of wear 2 rings. One is my engagement ring, one is my wedding ring. I wear it as a reminder of the journey I've been through. And when I started this journey, I used to look at it, this reminds me of all the pain I've been through. But now when I look at it, it reminds me of all the amazing transformation I've gone through and, the hopefulness I have. And even now, as I speak to you, yes, there are going to be bad days, but I no longer feel the hopelessness. I have tools with me. I feel so much happier understanding that you know how not to let it give you so much power and take control of you. So It's been a wonderful journey, and I could not have picked anyone better to help me, guide me, provide me with tools, show me so much kindness and empathy. And what I seen with a lot of therapists is they tell you it's okay to feel that way, but I did not feel genuine empathy or kindness coming from them. But what I went through with you was so personal because it was as if I were talking to someone who literally has read my diary and understand what I'm going through. And every time I talk to you, I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you know? You particularly, Sean, as a straight man, I'm like, how do you know all this? How do you have such a deep understanding of this issue? And it's been a wonderful journey. And thank you. I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I could not be more sincere about this. Here's my take on it. I think I would have come across it anyway, because what I was going through is failure through therapy, looking for answers again. Third time's the charm for me. So
Awesome.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you so
Thank you,
much
Krishna.
again. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for doing this. Well done. And
it's credit to you.
we're so excited to see you, to keep in touch and see you.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I do hope you keep in touch. I know you have provided me all necessary tools I need to deal with this. It would feel so good to say hello once in a while, because I
as
truly,
you know where to find us.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I have so much admiration for both of you. You have essentially changed my life, and that is not something you can tell a lot of people. Eva, like what you have done with your pain, your experience, and the way you are changing people's life with this, it is so amazing. I don't know what my journey would have been like, but I can tell you right now, I'm so grateful that this has happened to me, both the RJ and the understanding of it, because not only is my relationship stronger, I feel like I'm much closer to my husband now than I ever was. And because there's such a connection, and I give both of you essentially credit for doing it. Could I have done it on my own? Maybe, but the fact that I got to the stage so quickly, I credit both of you, and you have truly changed my life. Sean, you too, and your kindness meant so much to me, Sean. The way you connected with me, the way you just let me grieve, and I felt I was talking to a close friend, and I did not expect that feeling to come through when I spoke to you. The amount of comfort you gave me, the way you made me feel, it's amazing. I definitely understand now why you both are so good at it. And thank you so much. And Eva, I have to tell you again, what you have done with your retroactive jealousy, the pain that you've gone through, and believe you me, I understand this definitely wasn't easy for you. Yeah. I cannot imagine how many days you cried or felt hopeless or told yourself, oh my God, is this my life now? Like, I don't think I'll ever get better. Like, nobody understands. And the hopelessness you feel and the way it affects your work, your relationship, your life, the quality of life, and what you have done with it. Thank you so much. And you're an amazing person. I know this is your job, but I can see more than that. I can see kindness. I can see a connection that I don't see in therapist. This isn't just a job for you. This is so much personal for you. And I'm sure as a young lady, you have such amazing accomplishments in your life. It blows my mind that someone so much younger than me is capable of such amazing insights. And I know this is your job professionally, but this goes way beyond that. You are literally changing people's lives, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. And I'm so happy I got to know you. I'm so happy I had sessions with you, and you are amazing. And I hope you continue doing this. I hope you never retire. The world needs you, and through you, I hope more therapists gain an insight to this, because what I see right now is most of the therapists, I would say, I hate to generalize, but this is the truth, because I've been through so many therapists. I don't think they have the necessary tools or understanding around this jealousy and this feeling. And the approach is to understand, first of all, how much pain this causes. And what you're doing is transformational, is amazing. Thank you so much. And again, I'm so proud of you both. I'm so happy that I got to know you both. I go on and on and on about you to my sister, everyone I know. I forward them your videos. And, I do have a couple of friends who says, oh my God, I can connect to this as well. So thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful pregnancy. I wish you all the best. And this isn't like a formality which you have to tell strangers. I'm talking to somebody who has changed my life. I have such gratitude towards you.
Thank you.
This feeling that I have that I'm not alone. There's therapists who understands me. Normally you go to therapists thinking, oh, they will sort of guide you, but I never have had this feeling where I felt like the therapist really, really understands me. It meant a lot to me. It still means a lot to me. And thank you so much.
I know it means a lot. It was a pleasure getting to know you and working with you. Like we said before, we're really just proud of you and the work you've put in, and how you deserve it. You deserve it.
And
Thank you so
hearing you speak really gives us like the encouragement, the energy
To
to
keep
just
going,
forge
yeah.
ahead and keep going. Thank you so much as well. We're very grateful for you, the person you are.
Before we go, this is for anybody who's wondering if it's something that works. Yes, it does. I can attest to it. Oh my gosh, yes, it does. It definitely does. And just go on this journey. Just give yourself a chance and tell yourself, I have to dedicate as much as I can towards this. And it works. It definitely works. You will feel such a difference. And you know the feeling you say, you can see the birds chirping and the sun shining. I literally feel that, I can see the sun shining, but I literally feel that. And particularly you, Eva, like, I cannot imagine how much tougher this would have been on me without you. And oh my God, I'm so thankful and I'm so proud of you. And please continue doing this forever. The world needs you. And I'm not exaggerating or being funny in a way. The amount of people who are going through this, I did not realize how common this is. There are so many people.
So many people, millions.
Yeah.
They do not know whom to approach. They do not know how to deal with this. And that's the sad part for me. Many are willing to work on it, but they do not know where to go to or what to do. Even with me, with my internet searches, with my books, I did not know whom to turn to. I went to therapists and it wasn't effective. And the world needs more people like you, both of you. And what you're doing is amazing work. And please continue doing this. And as a young lady, I cannot tell you, oh my God, you are phenomenal. You're amazing. If we were neighbors, I would just want to hang out with you every single day of my life. I live in a very happening part of the town. I live in Chicago, like Boys Town. This is sort of the gay capital of the world. We have like the nicest happening places, restaurants, like French cafes, Japanese, Asian, all sorts of places, all sort of events. We have celebrities popping in every now and then. We have Taste of the World events where cooks from all over the world come and cook. There's so much
happening. Coming to visit.
Yeah, you are absolutely welcome to visit me. And, I would want you to visit me. If you're ever in America, I would be like, hey, why aren't you visiting me? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.